New sports fans, PP&Z, Sports Chaos, and guess what? It's Groundhog Day.
He saw his shadow.
No, he didn't see his shadow.
Oh, I thought it was a quick winter.
Early spring. He didn't see his shadow.
Oh, so that's good. I had it backwards.
Yeah.
So early spring, I'll take that.
By the way, we're only kidding. It is Groundhog Day, but it's Super
Bowl Sunday.
Woo! And we're back here at Wamisit Lanes once again, one of my favorite local places to go to here in Tewksbury, Massachusetts. We're going to get into the Super Bowl momentarily and talk all about some prop picks, real picks, game analysis. We got our 2-minute drill. I'll run through that real quick. I got to start out, as we all know, it's been a tough week in sports. A week ago today, Kobe Bryant passed away, and I got to admit, that was a surreal day last Sunday. I was watching the Pro Bowl, I was watching the pre-games. About 2:30, my wife said, Kobe Bryant just died in a helicopter crash. I go, no way. ESPN doesn't have anything. I put on CNN, they don't have anything. That reliable source, TMZ was the one that came out with it. Yeah, I was nervous, but finally by 3 o'clock, I got a live update from ESPN and CNN. Sad.
And as a father with daughters, it's even harder for you, I bet.
It is, man. Yeah, that was
you
a
know
tough
what that
thing. Especially because he lost his daughter. He was a family man. He was probably a better family man than basketball, and he was a great basketball player.
Top 5?
I would say maybe. Yeah, top 10 anyways.
Easily.
Hey, continents away this morning in Australia, the Aussie Open. The Joker, he won his 8th Australian Open.
I don't know why. I just don't like him. He seems like a cocky.
Robot, yeah.
He's very cocky.
He is
I don't like his attitude.
17th major all time.
I watched when he played Federer. I recorded it, and Federer had a chance. I mean, he blew it at the end, but he did it
first. He beat Federer. 6 times in a row, he's beaten Federer. By the way, on the women's side, no one from the top 10 was in the finals. U.S. number 14, Sophia Kenin. She won her first ever at 21. I believe she's the second youngest American to win a major, so good for her. Yeah. Hey, baseball news. I gotta mention this. Last week it sounded like Mookie was gone to the Padres, and now it sounds like he's going to be gone to the Dodgers. I think within the next 2 weeks he's going to be traded.
That's unfortunate. I love Mookie. He's one of my favorite players on the Red Sox.
Oh my God.
But he's too expensive. They can't keep him all.
Hey, by the way, good news is we signed Mitchie Two Bags to a contract. That'll seal the deal. We're all set now. We got Mitch Moreland back. We're all set. Bruins, they crushed the Wild yesterday 6-1. They're looking pretty good. And the Celtics finally beat the Sixers, thank God. Without Kemba, and Sixers had a full staff, so that's a good thing. Kemba, by the way, was named to an all-star team, his 3rd time ever. He's a starter, good for him.
Didn't Tatum get
Tatum was a reserve. And by the way, speaking of the all-star game, that guy, Bradley Beal from the Washington Wizards, was crying that he said it was disgusting that he wasn't named to the All-Star team. Hey, I got 2 words for you. Stop whining and start winning, and you might make an All-Star team, Bradley Beal.
You need to be on a winning team or a decent team.
Hey, by the way, the All-Star game, do you hear about this? They're changing the format. They're now going to have every quarter is a mini game. The first 3 quarters is a mini game, right?
That's weird.
It gets even worse. After that, they take the combined score of all 3 quarters, they add 24 for Kobe, and they go into a 4th quarter untimed, so there's no clock, and I don't know how you win. I have no idea. I think it's whoever's winning by 24, the game is over. All right, we move on to something more normal.
It's the worst. I hate the NBA All-Star. I prefer every other Pro Bowl.
Hockey's just as bad now. They do the same thing. All right, NFL. Let's get right into it. That's why we're here, right? NFL awards last night. Lamar Jackson, 2nd time ever, unanimous MVP. By the way, PB still thinks he stinks. I don't know.
Who was the other one?
Jim Brown.
No, actually, I heard on TV it was Tom Brady in 2010.
Unanimous?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Tom Brady. All right. Well, he was unanimous All-Star. DYK. 9 guys in the history of the NFL were a Heisman winner and an MVP winner.
You want the other 8?
Just give me any one of them.
Heisman and MVP.
I'll let you think about it a minute.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, in the awards last night, our own Stephon Gilmore, he was named the Player of the Year. Good for him.
He deserves it. Best quarterback in football.
Cornerback, yes. Offensive Rookie of the Year was Kyler Murray, which I had a feeling. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I'm totally shocked by this, not by his performance, but going in, I didn't expect him to be as good as he is. Nick Bosa was the Defensive Rookie of the Year, and I think he's going to be close to an MVP today in this game. We'll talk about that momentarily. The Hall of Fame ballots came out yesterday. The winners for the Hall of Fame, Troy Polamalu, first ballot Hall of Fame nominees as safety. Not many safeties in the Hall of Fame. And then Steve Atwater, the Denver Broncos safety, also got in. I love it. 2 years in a row we had safeties. Ed Reed was in last year as a first ballot as well. Also, Isaac Brooks, great wide receiver for the Rams and some other teams. You also had a great offensive lineman, a guy named Steve Hutchinson, that played for the Seahawks, if I'm not mistaken. And last but not least, Edgerrin James, maybe a borderliner. He started out great. I don't know if he had enough of a great year.
That's a questionable inductee, in my opinion.
I'm with you on that one. I'm with you. All right, and then last bit of news, Tom Brady. Man, we'll talk more about this in the coming weeks, but he posted this weird Instagram picture. Right, it's kind of cryptic, right? And then the news last week, he was in Nashville checking out schools. I don't know what the heck is going on.
I personally think he's just messing with everyone. Like he's using it to build his brand, just having fun. Because I think when everything's said and done, he's coming back to New England. But he's keeping us on eggshells.
All right, listen. Here we go. Super Bowl. This is what we're all here for today. We're going to talk some prop bets. We'll talk some real bets. We'll give our expert analysis because G Money and I have some real good analysis for this game. We'll talk about what each team needs to do. And we'll start right in with the first prop bets that you like going into this game.
I'm going to kind of put them in tiers. So these are 3 prop bets, but I'm bringing them together as one. I like this to be a close game any way you cut it. It's going to be a field goal game one way or another. So I like KC wins by between 1 and 6 points. That's plus 321. So you put 100, you win 321. All
right.
I like San Fran wins by between 1 and 6. That's plus 413. So if you do both, and I'm right that it's a short, a small
3-point game.
Yeah, 3-point game, 4-point game. Then you're going to win at very least $220. And then I like team wins by exactly 3 points. Either team exactly 3. That's plus 420. So those are my winning margin prop bets.
Oh, nice. All right. Hey, little DYK. First time ever, both teams came in averaging 29 points or more. Which team actually averaged more points for the year?
I believe San Fran. Weren't they 29.4?
San Fran was 30.4. KC was 29.4. So we talk about KC's offense, but the 49ers actually had the better offense point-wise.
Yeah, they piled up points this year.
Yeah, all right. All right. Let me ask you right off the bat, right now, G-Money, in your mind, key matchups. Give me 3 key matchups.
KC's offensive line versus D Ford and Nick Bosa.
I got you on that one. I'm with you.
And Forrest Buckner. Those 3 guys are going to control if they control the line of scrimmage, KC has no chance. I don't care how good Mahomes is. If he doesn't have time to throw the ball, then it doesn't matter.
I agree with that one. That's one of the ones I had. What else you got?
I also think cornerback play is going to be huge because obviously San Fran has a phenomenal quarterback in Sherman. I mean, he's an all-pro. The other side's iffy, but if they're going to have to do a couple safety over the top, they're going to have to scheme it correctly because they have a liability on one side. But if they can shore that liability up with safety help, then I think they negate Kansas City's advantage.
I got another one for you. The Honey Badger, KC, for going against George Kittle, the tight end for the 49ers.
It's going to be a good matchup.
If he can neutralize George Kittle by himself, which I don't know that he can do, but if he does, they have a shot. And I agree with you. Sherman, especially against Tyreek, can Sherman play Tyreek one-on-one without double coverage? That'll be a key because if you can now do that, you can play double against Kelsey and against Watkins or the other kid, Nicole Hartman.
Then you negate their weapons.
There you do, right? So that's another one. All right. The other one I got for you, it's one-on-one matchups. Who are the best fullback in this game? Because there's 2 great fullbacks. You got from North Attleboro, Mass, the local kid, Anthony Sherman. You got him, he's from North Attleboro, Mass. And you've got the other kid, Jusic, I think is how Kyle Jusic is how you say his name, from the 49ers. Who has a better game?
Kyle's the best fullback in football. He doesn't do much other than block, but he is
passes a lot like Tom.
He does catch some passes, but he doesn't run at all. I mean, his passes are blocker, but he is legitimately a 6th offensive man. He blocks just as good as an offensive lineman.
Yeah, similar to what the Pats did last year, right? When they beat the Rams, right? I'm with you on that. Tom Rathman fans, if you remember him, they wore the same number for 49ers. He won 2 or 3 Super Bowls at fullback. All right, the other one I have for you is the battle of the tight ends. Probably the 2 best in the game. Would you agree?
I would say, yeah.
Kelsey and Kittle?
Yep. Hands down,
all right.
2 best.
Who has a better game and why?
I think Kittle. I think Kansas City's defense is not as good against tight ends as San Fran's. The Kansas City's defense, their linebackers are not good. So I think Kittle will have a bigger game just based on that talent differential that San Fran has. San Fran has much better linebackers and a better overall defense.
By the way, the other thing, I agree with you. I think Kittle has a better game, and not only by catching the ball, he's a better blocker.
He's the best blocker since Gronk retired.
He is, yeah.
Him and Gronk are the top 2 blockers.
Kelsey is a great tight end, but he's a little bit like Jimmy Graham. He's a big boy, but I don't think he likes to get his hands dirty.
No, he doesn't like to throw and put himself out there.
No, he does not. No. All right. Hey, give us another prop bet.
Yep. I'm going to put these ones together as well. I think I like special team or a defensive TD. That's plus 210. So 100 wins 210. I think there's likely to be an offensive TD in this game, most likely by San Fran.
Okay.
And then I like this one's a little out in the shot in the dark, but I like either a safety scores. Either a safety is scored or it goes to overtime plus 475. So either or. So or both even.
Oh,
but it's not bad. I think potentially one of those two, especially overtime with these evenly matched teams, that could easily happen.
Do you have the prop bet with Zion Williamson?
No, I didn't see that one.
Oh, so Zion, who scored more points than I think the KC offense or something like that? It's kind of funny.
Yeah, there are some crazy ones.
All right, let me ask you a question. To win this game, in your mind, what does KC have to do?
KC has to do something that I don't feel confident they can do. They have to control the trenches on both sides. So they're going to have to. Their offensive line's got to hold up against a stellar defensive line. They also got to get to Garoppolo, and San Fran has a really good offensive line. So they got to control the line of scrimmage. If they don't do both, control either side of the line of scrimmage, I don't see how they win. Even though they have the better weapons, I think that's a liability for them.
I'm with you. Here's what I got. KC cannot get behind by 10 points in this game. I know they've won behind by 10 points before. I don't think they can do it. I'm with you. They've got to be able to make San Francisco rush 5 people and not rush with 4, because San Fran controls the line with 4 guys. I think that KC's in trouble.
And San Fran is the only team I could think of with the speed to keep Mahomes in the pocket.
Yeah.
Like Bosa's just as fast as Mahomes.
And last, Frank Clark and Terrell Suggs, they've got to be able to rush Jimmy G, and KC has to make Jimmy G win the game, which many people are not so sure Jimmy G can win the game. That's what I think KC has to do.
But does he have to win the game with the rushing attack he has?
Well, if they stop the rush and they make him have to, then that should be the key. All right, give me one more prop bet before we get on to what San Fran has to do.
And this is a preview of my pick, but I like San Fran. I like San Fran at halftime and San Fran win the full game plus 255. Pretty good odds. 100 to win 255. San Fran's just going to be up at half and win the whole game.
By the way, so there's the first quarter bet too, right? What's the first quarter bet?
Oh, it's not good because Vegas caught on because KC has been horrible the first quarter in the playoffs. I think it's minus 145 to win 100 that San Fran wins the first quarter.
Wow.
So it's not, the odds are horrible. So otherwise I would have selected that because I think that's going to happen. I think San Fran will get a lead.
All right, San Fran, what do they have to do to win this game?
San Fran has to do what they've done so far in the playoffs. Rush the ball with authority, control both lines of scrimmage, defensive line and the offensive line, and do enough in the passing game to confuse KC because they can't run it every time because KC will negate that. They have a great coach in Andy Reid, so they got to mix it up with some passing. Garoppolo's got to throw for a couple hundred yards, and they still have to run the ball effectively because I don't think if they run it the whole game like Green Bay, I think KC will one way or another figure out a way to overcome that because they've seen it happen.
I'm with you. They cannot change their offense. I've been hearing all week how they got to pass the ball a little more, San Fran. They got to run, and run it down their throat. And if they do that, I know that KC did stop Henry,
right,
but I think this is a different running game than what Henry does. So I agree with you on that one. The other thing I think San Fran has to be able to do to win this game is they're going to control KC with their front 4. We already talked about that, but it's such an important thing because if you can now play 7 guys in pass defense, different game. I know Mahomes is a different animal, but I think they have to be able to do that. So,
and I don't think Mahomes hasn't played a defense as good as San Fran yet. I mean, they played the Pats, but I still think the Pats were a paper tiger. Like, they weren't as good as they look statistically because they played a lot of crap teams.
They did play a lot of crap teams.
But San Fran played a lot of good teams, and they stopped a lot of good offenses. So I think San Fran's defense is the best in football.
All right, give me another prop bet here.
Yeah, I like I like the. I'm going to go with the who scores first. So,
Ooh, I always like this one.
I got 3 that I like. So I like Deebo Samuels scores the first TD, plus 1,400. He scored 3 out of the last 5 games for San Fran. He scored the first TD. So I like his odds. If San Fran scores first, then it's him.
Okay.
I also like Hardman scores a TD just in the game, plus 300. Doesn't matter when. Doesn't have to be the first one. That's a good bet. I mean, I think between,
that is a good bet.
between
He's
the kickoff
explosive.
return,
He's explosive.
yeah, he could definitely score. And I think Hill scores at first TD, plus 900. I like that. So I think if it's not Samuels, it's Hill. So if you do both, you're going to win considerably if either one of them hit.
Hey, is there a prop bet about whether or not Shakira or what's her name? J-Lo. One of them pulls a Janet Jackson?
Yes, there is. Honestly, it's J-Lo J-Lo shows butt crack. I swear to God, it says plumber or something else, right? In parentheses, it's plus 200. It literally says J-Lo shows butt crack.
I got that one.
Like has some kind of wardrobe withdrawal, wardrobe issue.
Oh man! All right, before we get into our picks, who's your X factor in this game? Who's the one guy we haven't talked about? Nick Bosa?
Yep, and Nick Bosa has to get a few sacks for San Fran to win the game, or at least cause havoc in the backfield, because he has the speed to keep Mahomes from scrambling for 80 yards like he did the last game.
What about KC? Who's the X factor there that has to do something that we're not ready for?
The X factor is Hill. Hill's got to score a few long touchdowns. He's got to beat Sherman one-on-one. Not easy to do. Sherman's top 3 cornerback in football. But if he can somehow pull that off, then that's a huge differentiator.
All right, I'll get you 2. My KC factor, X factor, is Chris Jones. He has to disrupt the middle. He has to be able to help them neutralize the rush. If he can play that game, which he did do against the Titans,
he did.
He can do that again. KC has a real shot. And then for San Fran, it's Emmanuel Sanders. Everybody knows about Dabo. He can do a lot of stuff. Emmanuel Sanders is the one guy, by the way, has Super Bowl experience, right? He was on the Broncos when he won with Peyton. He's the guy. If he has a great game, I think San Fran wins this game.
He's been underutilized lately.
He has been.
But he's due. He's due for a big game.
All right, give us the real bets. First of all, money line.
Yeah, it's low. I think I want to say it's plus 105, San Fran.
Are you betting that one?
Yes, I like San Fran to win outright.
Okay.
I also take the +1 as a little safety net because it's possible KC wins 24-23. I mean, anything can happen.
Is it down to +1? Is that the line right now?
Yeah, it was 1.5. It dropped to +1.
It's 1 point.
Yeah.
All right.
And
So your pick?
So I like San Fran money line. I like San Fran +1. I also love the under 54. Everyone and their grandma is choosing over. This is going to be a lower scoring game than you think. I think it's going to be like a max 27-24 game. I could even see like a 24-21. It's not going over.
So you're thinking 27-24 maybe?
24, yeah, either 24-21 or 27-24 in that range.
All right. I'm a little bit torn. I originally said day 1 after the conference championship, San Fran. By the way, I did pick San Fran and KC at the very beginning of this thing to be in the Super Bowl.
Well done.
I stuck with them the whole time, and they're in this game. I think we're the 2 best teams in the game right now. I did say San Fran initially. I've been bouncing back and forth. I think Mahomes is electric, but here's what I think about Mahomes. I think he's Dan Marino. I think he's an electric player. He's had a great second year starting. I know it's his 3rd year. Similar to Dan Marino, he was gangbusters in 1984, MVP, went to the Super Bowl. His only Super Bowl ever. He never went back, and by the way, he did not win that game. And so similar to Dan Marino, I say Patrick Mahomes goes into the game, does not win, loses, and never goes back. San Fran 27, KC 24. We did not practice this.
I swear to God, we didn't practice this.
So that's my pick. I'm sorry. And by the way, Jimmy G gets his 3rd ring.
Oh yeah, he had 2 on the bench, right?
He gets his 3rd ring.
I forgot about that.
Can you believe it? All right, fans, enjoy the rest of the day. I don't know what happened to PB.
Oh, I got one more good
He
prop.
thought he would call. Give us another one.
I like the MVP. I got 3 choices for MVP prop.
Oh, here we go.
I like
MVP props.
Bosa MVP,
What do you think,
20-1. So you bet 100. I mean, you bet 100, you win 2,000. I like Garoppolo plus 250. A lot of times it's a QB, and I think if San Fran wins, there's a good chance it could be Garoppolo. And then if KC does pull it off, I like Ford 150-1. Huge long shot, but I think
a good pick.
I think those are 3 good MVP picks right there.
Nice one. All right. Anything else?
The only other thing I have is I like Sherman intercepts a pass plus 400. That's good odds. I mean, there's a chance he does intercept at least one pass.
Nice.
That's a good odds.
All right, fans, you heard it. Have a great Super Bowl
Thank
Sunday.
you, guys.
By the way, the first presidential candidate says we're going to make the Super Bowl Sunday an official holiday, I vote for. All right, we'll see ya.